Hello, my name is Joe VanFonda. I'm the CEO for the Disabled Veterans National Foundation. I'm also the host for the OMP podcast, Operation Mission Possible, where we believe that all challenges can be managed. So today I have Anthony Suppa. Is it spelled right? S-U-P-P-A, Suppa?
Suppa, yes.
Suppa. Is it Suppa or Suppa?
It depends on who you ask. You ask me,
So
it's
you
the
must be
Suppa.
Italian, huh?
Yes, yes.
All right, so Anthony is the CEO of a Slice of Charity, and we're going to hear his story today. So tell me a little bit about his background, himself, and what drives his motivation, his heart and desire to serve our disabled and at-risk veterans and their families. Anthony, welcome to the OMP podcast, and please tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. Honestly, it's a true honor. When I got the email and the phone call from you, I was taken back. It was unbelievable. But so I am a United States Marine Corps veteran. I went in 2006. I got out in 2014. I've been doing fundraising for Toys for Tots since 2014, and we always called it Operation Slice of Charity, collecting toys. So that's how 2 years ago I decided I want to create a 501(c)(3) that's called Slice of Charity. I thought the name was nice. Could fall under a lot of different things. It doesn't have to just be one focus.
So
But
what business do you have? What business do you do? What's your business?
so I own a restaurant pizzeria, but Slice of Charity and the fundraising originally started with just toys, because of course Toys for Tots. So I could give you a little background of that. The first year we did it, it was like 40 people at the restaurant. We would give out some free food, some drinks. Everyone would hang out for 2 hours. We got about, again, the first year, about 40 people at the restaurant. As it progressed and it got further and further along each year, 40 people turned to 60, 60 turned to 80, 80 turned to 150. We kept growing, and I was like, wow, this is great. Like, this is awesome. We're collecting a lot of toys here for Toys for Tots. So now fast forwards 15 years later, it was okay, we're too big to host this at the restaurant. Where could we go? And we actually made a relationship with the owner of Oheka Castle, who is an amazing person, Gary. He allows us to utilize the castle for this fundraiser. And it was always, for the most part, a free event for everybody. And this was actually the first time we hosted it at Oheka Castle was this, well, I should say the second time we hosted it at Oheka Castle was the first time officially under Slice of Charity. That's when we got the 501(c)(3), which was just about 2 years ago. And we had 1,500 people that attended this event. And again, it was always free. So we would just ask people to bring toys. And it would be a 3-hour party at Oheka Castle, which would include, all you can eat buffet of everything from, pizza to steak tidbits. Yeah, and everything in between. The desserts that Oheka put out for us, because we would supply the regular food, but the dessert table was something out of a New York wedding. It's unbelievable what they do. And they give us the open bar too. And we would then hire DJs, we would hire entertainment for the kids, we would bring in Italian singers. And it just became this event that is literally like a wedding at a venue that would normally cost somebody that's hosting the wedding, $650 per person. So people were getting that experience. That's partly why it grew so big for free. They were bringing a toy. That's all we asked, bring a toy. Now last year what we did was we said, listen, if we could get $20 per adult, that would be great. At least offset the cost of the DJ and the face painters and whatnot. So we did that. And we actually had it in the middle of the storm last year. It was a Sunday. We had about 3 feet of snow on the ground. We had 1,300 people still come out. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God, there's going to be like 2 people here, me and my wife. Yeah. But Slice of Charity was created with the idea in mind was to be very human related. It was not originally, and it still is not, just focused on veterans. Although our biggest platform in there is feeding the veterans. Once we launched that, we didn't even, or I should say, I didn't even realize the need that was out there. We went, from, all right, we'll feed a couple of veterans every week to now we opened up to do a feeding on the week of 4th of July. And barely even opening it up to the community, I've had 3,500 veterans that are requesting food. And we're like, whoa, what just happened here? Like we were expecting when we budgeted about 5 to 600 veterans for that 1 week alone. So I think it's $5 to $6,000 worth of actual food costs. So that's actually to purchase chicken and things of that nature. So it blew up out of nowhere, and we were like, "Oh my goodness! Like, this is amazing. It's heartbreaking that there's that many veterans plus more that need food, but it's amazing that they're trusting us to get that done for them." And other organizations and Nassau County in New York has reached out to us to help feed their homeless shelter for the veterans. But with that being said, there's something that I truly believe, and this can fall into veterans also. And because veterans, when people view it, they think of an elderly person. A veteran is not always an elderly person. Veterans could be anywhere from the age of 22 to 99. So now you go into, like, let's say they're 30, 35, 40. These veterans have families, right? They could be struggling with mental health. They could be struggling with work. They could be struggling with finances, with health, whatever it may be. And for me, it kind of falls in always to the children a little bit. I say this many times. If you look at a child, if you look into their eyes, if you look into their soul, and I truly mean this, children are the definition of innocence. They are pure, pure, pure people. They have not been tainted by the world yet. So when any person, but again, obviously I'm a veteran, so it affects me a little bit more on the veteran side of it, they should be able to help their children any which way, whether it be emotionally, physically, financially, or food for that matter. A child should never suffer. So that's kind of really how Slice of Charity originally started. It was, I was like, I want to be able to truly help kids, whether they're sick, whether they're homeless or food insecurity, whatever it may be. I look at my own children and I'm like, I put, and I shouldn't do this, or maybe I should, but I put them in that situation in my brain. I'm like, and I'm like, how could I ever allow that to happen to any child? So that's kind of how Slice of Charity really started. I can
I,
go out on a tangent, so
I'm
you
right there
just
with you,
stop me.
Anthony. No, I feel exactly with you. Children are innocent, but also, sadly, children are reflective of their parents as well, right? And
Yeah,
as you
the
know,
surroundings.
absolutely, if you have if you have a broken mom and dad, that reflects on the children, right? They act out. You can actually see. I mean, it's sadly to say that you can pretty much look at a young child and if the child is well kept, unkept, dirty, sad, I mean, you can pretty much wonder,
What
or
is their
speculate, okay,
homes?
what's happening at home? What's broken at home if the child isn't being taken care of. And I'm not, putting children up in next to puppies, but if to me, I believe if you have if there's a mean dog, something happened to that dog,
Yeah,
that puppy, that
most
animal.
of the time,
Most
yes.
of most of the time, right? Everybody blames a Rottweiler or whatever. It's a vicious, mean dog. I met beautiful, friendly, loving Rottweilers, and then I met some mean ones, and then I look at their parents, and they're aggressive, or they have anger issues, or they have something going on, life challenges they're not solving that reflects on their animal, reflects on their child. And same thing for veterans,
Yeah.
so not every veteran's broken, but we have some veterans out there that are trying to solve life challenges and are having issues with it. And I believe I think you hit a good chord. I think food insecurity is probably one of the top ones right there. Where's your
Well, without
restaurant? What's
food,
your
yeah.
restaurant? Tell me about your restaurant. What's the name of your
So,
restaurant?
the name of the restaurant is Frantoni's. I'm a part owner in Woodbury. The original founders, it's three siblings, Steve Mistretta, Mike Mistretta, Donna Newman. They have ownership in all three locations. There's one in East Meadow and Wilston Park. But they started the business about 1987 or 88, I believe it was. So 30 something years ago, they opened up the first restaurant in Wilston Park.
And you're
And
in Long Island, right?
that's correct. That's correct.
I remember I was stationed at I was stationed, well, I lived in Long Island for a little while in military base housing when I was a gunny. I was pretty much training I was on the I&I staff down there by the Velarusa bridge right there, by the, um, uh, um, long time ago. It took me it took me about an hour to get to work and about 2.5 hours to get home
Yeah,
because
well, welcome to New
the
York.
traffic, yeah, the traffic is, you know, the Verrazano Bridge is a beautiful bridge and all that.
Yeah, but I like to look at it from a distance.
So where did this spark of caring and love come from? Where's it come from?
It comes from my mother, to be honest with you. But with that being said, growing up, I had a very, very close group of friends, and it's a crazy thing, but I had a couple of friends that used to say to me that I was their security blanket. And I was like, I don't understand that. So like you were literally like my security blanket. If I know if I'm with you, and I'm talking about middle school, high school, not really elementary school, but middle school and high school, and they're like, we just know we're safe. Like you're just very protective over everybody. You don't care if something happens to yourself. Like it's not gonna, you're like it's like water off a duck's back for you. But if your friends, your family, like you can't see them be hurt or injured or offended. And that's kind of like I think what grew into it. So for many years, like I said, when we were doing the toy drives, it was nice, it was fun, I loved being able to do that. But I felt myself, especially in owning your own business and being in the restaurant world, you start to get callous. You start to get beat up. Dealing with the public, you literally get beat up on a daily basis. And I felt myself getting away from that uh, protective nature. So for many years in between, I was like battling this inner demon that was like, well, I shouldn't say demon, I should say inner angel that was like, you got to get back to that. You got to get back to that. If that means a career change, even, you got to get out of this world that you're in because it's not mentally good for you. It's not where you want to be. So rather than a career change, I said, you know what? Because I couldn't tell you how many people were like, why are you going to try and start a 501(c)(3)? Like you got enough going on in your world. Like it's so hard. It's so much work. There's so many rules and regulations with it. So I didn't do it for like 5, 6 years. I just pushed it off, pushed it off. And finally I was like, I don't care anymore. Why am I listening to people? I never listen to people. I always do what I think I want to do.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Let me ask
So,
you this. How's the homelessness in Long Island?
well, I
What
mean,
are you seeing?
there's pockets like everywhere else, right? I can tell you an experience that happened many years ago with the homeless in the East Meadow location, right? I was working there as a manager there at the time.
I lived in East Meadow. I understand East Meadow.
So then you know the park,
Down by the
Eisenhower
train
Park.
station. So yeah, yeah.
Yep. So Eisenhower Park has a very big homeless camps and situations, or they did. I'm not too familiar with it anymore. I don't want to offend anybody. But I can remember there was a gentleman, his name was Cowboy Joe. Everybody called him Cowboy Joe because he wore a cowboy's hat. He obviously had some mental health. I couldn't tell you if he was a veteran or not. I mean, we've had some good experience with him and bad experience with him throughout that time. One winter, turn on the news, we walk into work, homeless gentleman passed away behind a dumpster, behind a building in the middle of like January, just froze to death. You know, like there, how low do you have to be that you would freeze to death behind a dumpster of a building in the middle of the night? There's help out there, but especially for veterans, sometimes veterans don't want to seek help, right? They're too proud. They're very proud people. We're very proud people. We don't want to put ourselves in a position that we feel like we don't have control. That is probably our biggest downfall because there is help out there. It's guiding the veterans to the help. There's something that I've been talking about now for a couple of years that I think actually somebody talked about on your platform maybe a couple of weeks ago that I felt like nobody was ever speaking of. Every single veteran I know, whether they're in for 4 years or 40 years, that first year when they're out of this service, there is a mental breakdown that you go through. I went through. Everybody, I have one of my best friend, the reason why I joined the Marine Corps, he went through it. He was in the Marines. I joined after him. Every single veteran that exits the Marines or the service for that matter, there is this, and I hate to call it entitlement or pride that you think you have getting out that's not truly there. Because when you're home on leave, you're a Marine or you're in the Army and you're this superhero every time you're home. Now you get out and you're a civilian. You're not that superhero anymore.
You gotta take that cape off.
You got to take that, but they don't know that they have to take that cape off. They don't realize that you're you're not, I hate to say it this way, but you're not special anymore. No, you're not entitled to anything because you're promised everything while you're in the service. You're going to get a job. You represent the military. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times we go on leave and they would tell us, you represent the entire Marine Corps when you go on leave. If you get in trouble, it's not going to be Anthony Suppa gets in trouble. It's going to be United States Marine Corps Anthony Suppa that's going to get in trouble.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that is something that's embedded in your brain. And people don't realize that, especially people that are not taking advantage of going to school while they're in the military. The job opportunity out there is limited for somebody that just did, all right, you're a 4-year infantry guy. All right, well, what can you offer us? You know?
And after that, what was your MOS? What was your job in the
So I
Marine?
was an 0231 and Intel specialist, and then I got moved over because of the needs of the Marine Corps. I got moved over to legal administration.
You pogue.
Yeah. Well, because you know what it is? I went in open contract.
I
So
hear you.
my contract was put where you go where I was lucky I didn't end up as a cook.
Well, I went to an open contract too. Of course, I was back in the 80s, whatever, but mine was a combat engineer, so why are we building things we have to blow up? It was tiresome. So the blowing up stuff was kind of cool because it only took a few minutes, but you spend days building something. But yeah, so you're okay. So you went from the O2 Intel and you went to legal clerk or legal.
Legal administration.
Where were you stationed at? Where were your bases?
I was all over the United States, to be honest with you. I am a very odd Marine. I am probably one of the few Marines that did not have to go overseas. And again, I give this all to my mother and her prayers because in my contract, I went an open contract, right? So they could have put me anywhere in the Marine Corps where they needed me. In my contract, once stationed, I go to the first next deploying station that's leaving within a couple of months. I was in North Carolina, and when I checked in, I was checking in with two of my best friends from high school who were in the
Camp
Marine.
Lejeune, right? Camp
No, I wasn't in
Lejeune,
Lejeune. I was in Cherry
River,
Point.
Cherry Point.
Cherry
Okay,
Point.
that's
So
up
as
there.
I'm checking in, there was an officer that was checking me in because I remember I was checking in later at night, so I don't remember exactly who it was. So this officer's on the phone with people and they're talking about it like, well, some people have to deploy. It doesn't matter what has to do where he has to go. He needs to go where he's needed and this and that. So he gave me my paperwork and I get in the car and I turn around to my friends. I'm like, I think I'm deploying like tomorrow. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So sure enough, he wasn't sending me to the unit that was deploying, he was sending me to headquarters because headquarters needed a clerk, an administrator clerk at the time. So now I'm in headquarters that doesn't deploy, right? And in my contract, I'm supposed to be in a unit that's deploying within the next couple of months, the next unit out. So it was like it was crazy, and I couldn't tell you how many times that they were like, "All right, get ready. You're going to be deploying. You're going to be transferring back to your unit because you're actually subbed out, and they're going out again, and you're going to deploy." So every time I'm getting ready to deploy, something would happen. They'd be like, and I'm talking last minute changes, like within days. Like, you're not going. You're staying here. They filled the spot or they did this, and I'm like, my friends are like, what is going on? Like, you might be the only Marine, and it is what it is. I'm
Oh,
fortunate.
so you're slippery, huh? You were
I
slippery in the
guess,
course.
listen, my mother's prayers. I give it all to her. She did not want to see me
Well,
overseas.
if I was your sergeant major, I'd have your ass
Yeah,
deployed.
that's for sure.
I'm like,
They
okay,
love me.
Suppa. I see you going with me. You want to be called Tony or Anthony, by the way?
Anthony.
Anthony.
So
So
I,
where do you get Tony from Anthony anyway?
I don't know. My to New York.
I don't get it. I don't get it though. Where
They
do you
say
get
it was
Tony
from
from?
to New York. All the Italians used to write to New York, and so instead of Anthony, it was Tony. But I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. There has been when I got out of active service, I actually stayed in for the reserves, and I was stationed in Jersey. And listen, there's people that I was friends with that were deploying again. Perfect, perfect situation. I was a Lance, but I was a Lance because I didn't do certain things at that time, and I should have. I wasn't doing my training courses for the MCTs, and anyway, there was a corporal that did not want to deploy. So I turned around, or as a sergeant at the time, I'm not sure if it was corporal sergeant. Anyway, I was like, listen, I'll go. I'll volunteer to go. So, all right, again, perfect situation. You're getting ready to go. We're about 2 weeks out. Everyone was breaking his balls there, or his chops. Like, you're gonna let Lance Corporal Suppa take your position? Like, you are this, you're that. Like, just gave it to him. And he turned around and he said, no, I'm going to take him off. Take Suppa off. 2 weeks out, I'm ready to leave. I'm going to Afghanistan. And boom, no, you're staying. You're not going anywhere. So again, it's my mother's prayers. It wasn't by choice. And listen, I'm not upset about it by any means. It is what it is. I had friends that were in units with me that passed away in combat. They were. I was when I was in New Jersey, I was in a motor T unit. So, there's situations that happen that you know, weren't we didn't love, let's just say.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. What's the low? What's your low? What's your low in your life during the Corps, transitioning out of the Corps to going into business? What's your low that breaks your heart?
My low was that first year because again, I didn't go to school, college. I didn't have college credits. I didn't want to become a police officer in New York City. I took the test. I got accepted. I had to just pass the physical, which wasn't going to be a problem, and it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I couldn't figure out where to go. I was like a lost puppy, right? I didn't know where to go. Any opportunities that I had, I was at least smart enough at the time to say, okay, where are these opportunities going to be in 30 years from now? What are they going to be for me? I want to have a family. I want to have kids. I want to have wife. How am I going to be able to support them? And that was an inner fight for me. I didn't know what to do. So I started again when I got out. I started working at a restaurant, and I moved up. And I always wanted to be a business owner. That was always like my dream, my goal. Every male in my family owns a business of some sort. My father's a CPA. He owns his own CPA office. So obviously, with no college degree, I wasn't going to be a CPA. Um, but I was very, very lost. I was very lost for many years because even while building to where I am now, at the time I didn't really know that I was building blocks to where I'm going to be now in 20 years later. But I was down on myself because I was like, you're gonna be, you know, a loser your entire life. You're not going to be able to financially support a family. You're not going to be able to buy a house. You're not going to be able to, take your kids on vacation or be a good. My thing was, I thought I wasn't going to be a good father because of my work situation, and that ate at me for many, many, many years.
But
But
when you were transitioning out of the military, did you already have a plan?
when I was transitioning, no plan. I was getting out, and I thought I was going to take over the world at the time. I'm a Marine. Anybody, I can get any job I want. That was the mind F. You know, I'm a United States Marine. Get whatever I want. That's what, that it's kind of like what you're told while you're in there. So you're told that you're the best. So why wouldn't somebody want the best for any position, right?
Let me ask you this, sir, Anthony. How many times have you given away free food to the homeless or somebody that comes by your pizzeria that's hungry? How many times?
I couldn't tell you how many times.
I mean, why do you do it?
Because I want to. I think it's the right thing to do. Listen, there's limitations, right? And I hate to say it this way, but I don't want to open the doors and invite people to start overtaking the restaurant thinking that I can just give everything away for free, right? But couldn't tell you how many times. It happens on a monthly basis.
Tell me some of the stories that
So somebody walks in and they walk in with a story, right? What you can see it on their face. They got it already on their face. They're about to tell you a story. You know what's coming. You listen to their story, how much of it is true, how much of it isn't true, and you want to judge them. right? You want to get mad because they're asking you to give them something for free, not from a charity, from a business that's supporting not just my life, every single employee that I have, right? But at the same time, then I stop and I think about it and I say to myself, who am I to judge this person? Who am I? And I don't want to bring it to religion or anything like that. These are just my feelings, but maybe this is a test. Maybe this is a test from God and my feelings, and that's my feelings. Who are you to judge that person right now and not help them? Right? You should be helping them. You're a good person. This is what you do. Okay, listen, I can give you a slice of pizza. I can't do this all the time. I can't do it every single time. Um, but that's kind of what happens. I mean, listen, I've had people come in with stories with their kids. I mean, that's obviously what gets me as soon as they bring their kids with them, and I'm like, oh my God, like there's a child looking at me right now. How am I not going to help this family or this person with their child? And then there's people that just come in that will be older people that, I lost my job. I don't have this, I'm on my last dollar. Can you help me? And right, like, you can't do it every time. I can't do this every time. So it's not very detailed stories because I try not to think of their story. I try to think of you're just doing the right thing. Doesn't matter. Their story doesn't matter. They have a story, whatever it is, it does not matter. It matters is that they need help. Doesn't matter if they need help because they stubbed their toe. It doesn't matter if they need help because they're literally, have no feet and arms, so to speak, right? What's the difference? If somebody needs help, they need help. So, I mean, especially in the East Meadow location, that has happened hundreds of times. But again, with Slice of Cherry, I'm going to give you one of the first things that we did 2 years ago, and it actually happens to line up with he's not a veteran, he is a reservist. He's an Air Force reservist, this gentleman. He is an officer. Him and his wife, one night, and they have a 2-year-old son at this time. They're hanging out. His wife's like, I'm gonna go run down the block. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I just want to get a pack of cigarettes. And they're like probably right around my age. So they at the time they were about 38. An hour goes by, she doesn't come back. 2 hours, 3 hours go by, she doesn't come back. He can't figure out what's going on. Where is my wife? Little did he know, she crashed her car and she died.
Yeah.
Okay. With a 2-year-old son.
Mm.
Okay. Let's fast forward 3 months. The father's grieving, the son is grieving. He's just, I think he just turned 3 at that point. He's able to talk. Where's mommy? I went mommy. I want mommy. As a father, as a parent, how do you deal with that? Right? Diagnosed, the son, 3-year-old, gets diagnosed with autism. So now the father's like, okay, this is another bridge I have to cross of stress. 3 months later, son has a brain tumor.
Mm.
I'm like, I know this gentleman through the restaurant, and I'm finding out his story, and I'm listening to this, and I'm saying to myself, how is this man waking up every day to fight this battle? He has no help from family on either side. He is taking this on by himself.
Mm.
And he comes in, or I speak to him, and he's smiling every day. Whether it's real or fake, I don't know. But how is this man doing this?
Mm.
So, and then I started interacting with them a lot and his son, and I see now at this point in time, I have a son at the same age as him. So my son is 2 when this happened and was turning 3. They're very close in age. And again, I'm envisioning my son, and I'm like, how is this man doing this? Like I would be, I don't know what I would be doing with myself if all this pressure was happening at once. So we did a fundraiser for him and his son. And it was the second fundraiser we did, technically. The first fundraiser wasn't as powerful as this one, but we could not believe the outpour of support that we got for this family. And 6 months, I want to say 6 months, maybe a year after this fundraiser and this happened, everything, because it was probably about 6 months, I had a scare with my son for a very
Mm.
similar situation with with God forbid with the tumor. He had some lumps on the side of his neck. He was complaining that he was dizzy constantly. We had to take him to Cohen's Children's Hospital many times. We were trying to do a CAT scan on him. The only way he's hysterical crying before we put him in the CAT stand and clutching on to me because he's so scared. We can't get it done. I'm breaking down behind the restaurant in tears to my mother because I don't know what to do because I'm the type of person that is very in control of situations that I put myself in, and I have no control of this situation. That was after the creation of Slice of Charity, but I think that was the gasoline that put the fire on it for me. It was like, I thank God that that my son was fine, right? And the worry and the fear and the tears and everything else that came along with it prior to this day still didn't, thank God they weren't real. Now, how about every parent that's in that situation that it is real for them on a daily basis? And that's partly why I think that there's more to giving than just giving a toy. You know, we have given, again, this kind of falls out of the military aspect of it, but Ronald McDonald's House last year, thousands of meals for Ronald McDonald's House. And
Great
they're
organization.
not, and I got to say, because a lot of people will judge and no good deed is done unpunished. These meals came out of the restaurant that I just paid for. That's partly why Slice Charity has grown so big, is because I haven't utilized or need to utilize finances from Slice of Charity in order to achieve my goal.
So you're taking away from your surplus, your growth.
Yeah,
You're
but I have to always state that because people are, and rightfully so, they're cautious.
Hey, Anthony, you're finding out right now that sadly it costs money to run a nonprofit.
Yeah,
There's
but
more red tape in a nonprofit
oh,
than there
forget
is
it, man.
running
It's
an
ridiculous.
LLC, as you know,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
transparency and
Yeah.
cross the T's, dot your I's, so where every penny's going and so forth. So what does it cost um for an average meal? So I know you do a lot of meals for homeless shelters and organizations that take care of individuals in need. What's your average meal that you donate?
The actual food costs. So people need to understand this. There's food cost and then there's true cost.
Right.
The food,
Labor,
yeah, which we never take into consideration. We just need to be able to buy the food. That's it. It's $10. So we give a three-course meal with that $10. So a perfect example is last week we brought out some meals for about 20 veterans. Um, we try to feed as many veterans as possible each week, but again, this doesn't come from Slice Charity, it comes from me. Technically it does by name, but not by cost. But that is chicken bruschetta. They got penne alla vodka and a side of broccoli for $10. Go to the grocery store and try
What
buying that.
about what about a beverage? You gotta have a beverage now.
Now, see, that's the next thing I'm
Bottled
working on.
water. I know bottled water. I know it's kind of hard to send off fountain drinks, and so
No.
forth.
So actually, I'm in the process. It's funny you said that because nobody knows this. I'm in the process of working with bottling water for Slice of Charity, which would be very, very low cost. It would be like less than $1 for me to get this water because I would be going through a company. I would basically be starting a bottled water company for Slice of Charity that, basically the water costs nothing to do.
Right, right.
Um,
So your idea is to add that water supplement to the meal itself to
correct,
offset
correct.
the cost. The
Yeah.
hard part is trying to find relationships to offset your cost, not overhead, employees,
No,
or
cost, cost. It's got to be
just
cost.
cost, right? What is
I'll
the
give you
cost of what's your cost of for cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza? What's your cost?
the
Not
cost
true
of
cost.
a true food cost
You
or
make
true
you
cost?
make your own dough?
Yeah, we do everything. So
Really?
the true cost to make a pie, when people don't realize, you got to take into consideration your rent, your labor, your lights, your insurance, your gas, your food
Absolutely.
cost, your
Absolutely.
employees. So what are you looking at the end of the day? a pie after all said and done, $15, 20 bucks with maybe with topping, somewhere
Absolutely.
around 15 bucks,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
because to make the pie itself, it might cost you $5, right? But that's not the expensive part of it. It's how do you get the ability to make that pie?
Well, because
That's the expensive
you're
part.
taking away from daily operations to make these meals,
Yeah.
right? Because now you're paying employees not only to run your business, but also help you with your charity work, right? Electricity, yeah, understandable, understandable. I know it's expensive, and not to mention, nothing's cheap today.
No, everything's out of control.
Something that
But
would take $3 to make a pie. Now you're looking 5 to 7. Depending on if you can use good ingredients and so forth, right?
well, that's the beauty of it too, is that, and again, now we're going off topic of veterans. We're talking business a little bit, but
Well, I want to know here. Tell me this, all right? You're the Mister. You're the Mister Pizzeria kind of guy, all right? Tell me a good dough. How do you make a good
what's in
dough?
a good dough?
A good pizzeria dough.
It's very simple. It's flour, yeast, water, salt, and sugar. It's a very simple ingredients, but the dough itself to make people is probably the cheapest thing to make. It's when you start adding the ingredients on top of it, the sauce, the cheese, the grated cheese, the
Well, I
oregano.
think the most important part about a pizza is the dough.
Well, yes, it's true, but the most important part of the pizza is the ovens, in my
Because you
opinion.
because you put love into it, right?
Yeah, and love, but definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So who taught you how to make your first pie?
The my partner Mike, he really took me under his wing when he in my early stages of this path. He saw the potential in me, and he really did take me under his wing to teach me and help me get or give me the chance to get to where I am. Right? He said, "You want to work hard, you want to make the sacrifices, you want to do what I did. I'll give you an opportunity. Do it, and we'll open another place together."
So he actually seen you in a different light. He's seen something in you, right? He's
Yeah,
seen that heart
he
and
saw the work
desire,
ethic. He saw the
work
the
ethic,
honesty.
survive, and you had that. I know the military gave you a lot of those attributes, right?
Oh yeah, the discipline.
The discipline.
That's one of the things I was missing in life when I joined was the discipline, and not due to any, not due to not my parents not trying to discipline me. It was more of he's a very hard-headed, strong individual,
All
Anthony.
right, so tell me the story that broke your heart, and you said, I'm done with this. I'm going to create a charity. I'm going to talk to my partners about this, and we got to move forward with this. What was that breaking point that made you make that decision that you want to start your own charity called Slice of Charity? What,
I
what, what was that breaking point? Something was the last straw.
I
Some
don't.
image, some little child, some veteran, some family. What happened?
I think honestly, it wasn't necessarily a individual person that I saw that broke it. It was in me that broke it, where I saw, like I said in the beginning, I saw myself drifting away from what I wanted to be, the type of person I wanted to be. Not in a negative way, meaning I was becoming a bad person, but I was becoming calloused. I was becoming very beat up from dealing with the public, that I didn't have that overabundance of helping and loving and giving that I've always had and I always wanted. And I wanted to get back on track with that. And I wanted to do something, whether this is, for lack of better words, a hobby, right? So to speak, because there's no salaries involved in Slice of Charity. This is just something I do because I want to.
Right.
Um, after that breaking point where I finally said, I'm not listening to anybody. I don't care what anybody says. I am doing it. That fundraiser with that little boy, when I saw what his father was going through on a weekly basis, because they would come in, they still come into this week, and we give them food and they sit down with us and we talk to them, and we see his son growing, and we still see the pain and the work this father has. that was probably one of the breaking points for me emotionally, where you cannot understand while you're even watching it happen what this family is going through. You could be upset about it. You could be like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I want to help him. The fear and the pain that this man had in his soul, you can't feel it unless you're going through it. It's not possible.
Are you a mama's boy?
I am a mama's boy.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with being a mama's
No,
boy.
I'm a mama's boy, but I'll rip your teeth out if I need to.
Absolutely. I bet your mom's beautiful. I bet she's a wonderful woman.
She's a beautiful woman. She is
She's a great
the
cook.
most, yes, and she is probably, if there's any human in this on earth that is living or lived that is a saint, should be her. She
Really.
will put herself after anybody, doesn't matter. She puts herself last. Doesn't matter who you are.
And how's your dad?
He's a tough SOB.
I know he's a good man though.
No, he is. My father is a good man. My father has taught me to always do the right thing. My
So
father,
you're a reflection of your parents. You got a great heart. You probably have your dad's hairline.
no, definitely, without a doubt. Lack of hairline.
You got your mom's heart. There's no doubt there.
Yeah,
And you just want to do good, right? And you're
yeah.
finding your way in the nonprofit world, and a slice of charity at a time. I like that. I like the name. I think it fits you. I think it fits your emotions, your heart and desire, and so forth. I mean, I'm proud of you, brother. You
Thank
know,
you. Thank you.
leaving the Corps, you did your time, you served. Although you're a pogue, I won't pick on you there,
Not
Anthony.
too much. Not too
I know. But not only are you, taking care of your family, and you got great parents that gave you good moral compass and value, but you're also trying to help out the community, and I think that's mostly important right there.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Um, how many pizzas or meals will $15,000 pay for?
Again, if you figure $10,000,
I'm talking $15,000.
no, I'm sorry, 10, excuse me,
Well, I'm going to
10.
award you $15,000, Anthony.
Well, so I'm about to cry. You don't understand what that's going to do. I want to tell you what that's going to do. We opened up for the 4th of July week to feed veterans, like I was telling you earlier.
Mhm.
We did not expect the overabundance of need. We budgeted somewhere between $5,000 or $6,000, which is about 500 or 600 meals. We are expected now to produce, not expected, but requested 3,500 meals.
Mm.
I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do here? Like 3,500 meals is $35,000, right?
All right. So how about this?
1,500.
$15,000. Is that going to help?
Are you kidding me? That you have no idea what you just did for us. Like I was, I have
When's
anything.
this event? When's this event?
It's going to be the week of 4th of July. So we're looking to do it July 2nd and July 3rd.
And you said how many you're planning on serving?
3,500 meals.
Geez.
So
You need 20,
15,000 meals
you
is,
need $20,000. That's what you need.
yeah, that's what we need right around there.
Well, I'm going to give you $20,000. I'm going to award you $20,000.
You have, um, I'm trying to think of the words here. We don't reach out for financials help with Slice of Charity.
It's tough. It's tough to find
It's
partners.
hard. It's hard to do. It's not something that I want to necessarily do, but because of the need, which we didn't know how big the need was there for feeding the veterans, we can't do it on our own anymore. And we're learning that very quickly.
Mhm.
Think about it. 4th of July weekend is just what, 3 weeks away? And we
Right.
allotted about $5,000, yeah, $5,000 to $6,000 that we had in budget. You have just quadrupled that. We are going to be able to feed. We'll do the math. $20,000 divided by 10 is well, I can't even think. You got me off my game here now.
But that's okay there, Anthony. Let me tell you what I'm investing in. I'm investing in not your charity. I'm investing in you. All right.
Well, okay,
I'm
that's
investing
amazing.
in you. The sergeant major is investing in the Lance Corporal. That's
Yeah,
what we do.
yeah.
That's what we do as sergeant majors. You
That's
know,
right. That's right.
we invest in our troops, right? I'm investing in you. I see the heart. I see the desire. I see the moral compass. I see the mindset. The focus that you have and why you're doing this. And I know that it's always tough out there to get that partnership to help. And the Disabled Veterans National Foundation wants to sponsor this event. And I'm going to, after this, this podcast, I'm going to send you a letter via the email. It's going to be your award letter for $20,000. My
That
staff
would
will
be
mail that out
2,000 meals.
we'll mail it out on Monday to the address. And I'm hoping that that right there makes a big impact.
I want to tell you something. I truly think not only is it going to be making an impact on 2,000 individuals because you're supporting us and other people are going to see that your organization supports us, they're going to want to support us. Because you're now enabling us to get the mission done bigger and broader than what we want, we're able to show that now at the end of the year that other people are going to turn around and say, you know what? They are doing the right thing. We want to help them now. We want to benefit. So you don't understand that you're turning around and you're saying, oh, we're going to give them $20,000. Like that $20,000 is going to be worth 100 times what you're doing, not just because you're helping 2,000 veterans, but because you're allowing us to show what we're capable of.
Okay,
I
so
think that's one of the biggest
there's
things.
a term we use in the military called force multiplying. You remember that?
What was it?
Force multiplying.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Oh, well, I'm force multiplying.
That's what you're doing, brother.
Yeah, so here I am, the CEO for the DVNF, right? Podcast, OMPF host, and all that. And here I am, friends with Anthony, Slice of Charity, doing wonderful things. You're a small startup nonprofit.
We are
That's
grassroots.
what, and that's what big nonprofits fail.
Yes,
Is
that's
that
what they forget.
they were once small too, and they want to be seen. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. And
And they want all the credit.
I believe that all life challenges can be managed. I think that the Slice of Charity is solving a lot of those problems. And I believe that the $20,000 is going to be used appropriately. It's unrestricted. In other words,
It's going to be used 100% for the
those
needs.
funds, Anthony, how you need to use those funds to serve those families in need, right?
It's going to be, I can tell you now, I could show you, we will show you at the end of the year too. That will be 100% used to be buying meals for the veterans.
Well,
Because that's
you have my personal number.
yes.
You have keep it, put it in your phone. You're a friend of DVNF and also a friend of the old Sergeant Major. Just remember that, right?
All right, you're a friend of this young Lance Corporal.
Absolutely, brother. I got a lot of Lance Corporals out there that I stay good in contact with. That are wonderful individuals. So I'll tell you what, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of I know it's tough to start a nonprofit, especially when you don't have the funds and the relationships, and you're just going off the drive of your heart and the community. But I think that this $20,000 is going to help elevate you just a little bit.
I think it's going to elevate us a lot. I really, truly do, because we have to show that we're capable of doing. If somebody wants to give us some sort of grant or donation, they want to be able to see like, yeah, they're capable of doing it. It's not just I want to be able to feed 2,000 veterans, right? No, I fed 2,000 veterans in 2 days. You're giving me the ability to show them that I can do that, which surpasses anything, so to speak, that money could buy. You're giving Slice of Charity a chance to prove itself to the world, really, by doing this. I don't think you understand, or maybe you do understand what you're doing for us, but you're giving us the ability to grow bigger and better than we could have as of 10 minutes ago.
Hey, Anthony, did you get a chance to look at our website, the
Of course.
Disabled Veterans Foundation? We have a Veterans Food Assistance Program.
Yeah.
We help with the food insecurity, so you're helping us with that as well by doing what you're doing in Long Island. Um, East Meadow, I used to live in East Meadow too, in a base housing at the time, years ago, brother, back in 2000, right before the towers fell.
2000.
Yeah, a long time ago,
You
huh?
know what? You know what grade I was in 2000?
I bet you had more hair too there, Anthony.
Yeah, I was in seventh grade.
Oh, thank you, brother. I was striking a 20K. Well, it's so if some of the listeners and the viewers want to know how they can find your organization, where would they go?
Sliceofcharity.org. You know, I'm not too like active with the website. We keep it just a little bit what we're doing. You always see what we're doing, but Instagram. If you follow us on Instagram, it's the easiest way to get out what exactly we're doing at that moment. Because a lot of the things we do are events where it's not just like this is my thing. I don't like to ask, can you please donate $10? I hate that. I want to turn around and say, I'm having an event. Come out with your friends, your family, your wives, your kids, your loved ones. Let's say the event is $20, but you're getting something for your money. You're getting an experience. You're having fun with your kids. You're getting food. So it's not just me turning around and saying, hey, give me $20. Because I
Absolutely.
don't like that. It's, hey, follow us so you can see what events we're having. Because you know what? We put on good events and they're a lot of fun. And at least you're getting an experience too.
Kind of look like Tony Soprano. I know you get
You're
that.
not the only one that says that. I should have played his double or
He's a
something.
friend of mine.
Yeah, yeah. uh,
Well, I wish you the best, and I'm gonna have you back. Stay in contact. You have my personal number, right? Let me say this. So if I have any of my donors out there or friends at DVNF that are actually watching this podcast or listening, what would you like to say to our donors, the DVNF donors?
listen, we don't ever want to take away donors from any other mission, organization or mission. First off, that's number one. We believe in co-mingling and existing together. I think that's the way you will be bigger than and any nonprofit out there, and that's my way of doing it. Where it's I don't want your donors. I want to work with you and I want to give you credit for anything you do. And I want you to get a check. Not That's one thing I've said to many nonprofits. I don't need the check written out to Slice Charity. If we're doing an event together, and if we're raising money for cancer, so to speak, you're the cancer organization, you take the checks. Just give the recognition of Slice of Charity. So again, if anybody ever wants to contact me or reach out to me, it's a very simple email, Anthony at sliceofcharity.org. Just reach out and I will figure out a way. I'm big on if you want to help me, how can I help you? Especially in the corporate donations. It's kind of like, listen, they do them because they have to for tax reasons, but at the same breath, they want to find a reason to do them. So it's gotta, benefit them,
Well,
unfortunately.
I think your heart and desire speaks for, your slice of charity right there. And I know that if my donors are watching, and if my donors are watching, friends of DVNF can help support, slice of charity, God help them. I mean, here's the thing though, if there's an individual out there, an organization strictly donating to one organization, I don't believe that. If they're giving, they're giving to more than one organization. So I'm not expect to be greedy. I'm not greedy. I'm just happy that we have donations that are coming in where I
Yeah,
can bring on like-minded nonprofit organizations like yourself with wonderful heart and desires that want to serve our
that's what we
our,
should
our
be
families.
doing is coming
Absolutely.
together. I couldn't tell you how many conversations with different organizations that they've literally told me, no, I have to protect my donors. I can't, expose them to you because they might
Oh,
you
geez. I think
I'm like,
that's
I don't want to work with you then. I don't could care less. I'm not trying to take your donors.
called force multiplying. DVNF can't do it by itself. You can't do it by yourself. Other nonprofits can't do it by itself. But if we come together as a team and we're like-minded, we're serving that same the same community. My God, let's empower each other.
The impact. It's
Absolutely.
not about you or the slice or the organization. It's about the impact. That's
Absolutely.
why it's supposed to be created.
Absolutely. So you motivated?
You have
Did
no
I tell you?
idea.
Did
You
I
have
tell you I was going to
no
motivate
idea.
you? Did I tell you I was going to
You
motivate you?
motivated me. I'm floating off my seat right now. You don't understand. We have never, for the food program itself, received money of that size. We've had a little bit of money here and there that we were able to use, but 90% of it has just come out of me saying, okay, I need 100 meals this day. I need, you know, 20 meals this day.
When's that event?
So the actual
Okay, so
feeding
so
of
for the listeners and the viewers, when is the event? Be clear and concise.
so the event that we're going to be giving out the food for is going to be on July 3rd. That's when we're going to start running all the food out to the different locations and different spots where the veterans are. We're actually working with a Porsche group. It's called the Porsche Group, who's going to be helping us with. They're going to create a drive and they're going to help us transport the food. So
Awesome.
July 3rd is this feeding. Um, you
So
know,
you're anticipating I'm feeding close to 3,500.
now I am. Thanks to
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
You
Well,
know, we got to just make sure that we have and that, to rewind a second. Now think about that. I have to make 3,500 meals. You think I could do that with just the staff I have? No, now I'm gonna have to bring on other people, you know? That's not, people just don't, I always want to just put that in there for the people out there that are like, no good deed is done unpunished, or try to be pessimist. You know, try to look at the good. And why don't you come help me? You know?
absolutely.
Uh,
So $22,000 should help you, right?
Yeah, but you said $20,000.
I just said 22,000.
Oh, yeah, but
I'm going to award you $22,000 because I know you need to bring on some extra staff to help out.
it's gonna. You have no idea. I mean,
$22,000, Anthony. That's for you to do a
are
wonderful good thing for those individuals. The food insecurity is real and it's happening.
well, people don't realize that with food insecurity comes a lot of other things like mental health, physical
Absolutely.
health.
Yeah.
You know, you want a starting point for where people are the lowest of their lives. Start when they couldn't start feeding themselves or their family. Start there. Because once you hit that spot, you snowball downhill. It's the most essential need in the world.
Send me an email with the location, time, and date of this event.
Yep.
And we'll have the check out early next week. I'll have an award letter to you after this podcast. And to all our viewers out there, this is Joe VanFonda. I'm the retired Marine Sergeant Major. I'm the host of the OMP podcast. And this right here is Anthony Suppa. Suppa? Suppa?
Super.
Suppa? Like a
Super.
soup.
Super.
A
Super.
zoo is well, the S sounds like a Z.
Yeah. I'm
Super.
convinced that when my family came over, they couldn't speak and they were trying to say Zupa, and then whoever was writing it down was like Super. Like
So we have Anthony Suppa. He's the CEO and the founder of Slice of Charity. He owns a pizzeria and he's got a great heart, great mother and father, and prior service Marine, although he was a pogue, but I won't pick on him. And he's also a friend of DVNF, and he's also a good friend of the Sergeant Major. So
I can't wait to keep
I
growing.
want to say to you, I hope the event goes well. Please keep me posted. You have my phone number. Text me some photos and all that.
Oh yeah.
Let me know how it's going there, brother. $22,000 for Slice of Charity. Anthony, it's been wonderful, and thank you for being part of the Disabled Veterans Nest Foundation OMP podcast.
Oh my God.
Have a
Thank you.
wonderful day, my
Thank you.
friend.
You too. Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you.